Hello and welcome to Lord Fenton Gaming Reviews The Last of Us Part 2. I'm your reviewer, Lord Fenton. In today's review of Last of Us Part 2, we're going to answer the burning question. Is The Last of Us Part 2 worth your time and money? We shall see. And also, I will have to give a spoiler warning because this is going to be very important. During my course of this review, I will be touching up on the story, so I'll be spoiling details. Yes, I will be doing that because this review, I will have to this time, no choice, because this game is story driven, really story driven. And there will be a message after this review. So let's go ahead and review this story about revenge, shall we? Now let's talk about the graphics in the game. Oh my goodness, if you thought that The Last of Us Part 1 pushed boundaries, well, guess what? The Last of Us Part 2 definitely blew away those boundaries. Look at the fine details behind me of the cracks in the wall, the blades of grass, and even your characters. Yeah, I'm going to even use photo mode just to bring home that point. So I'm going to try to do a zoom into Ellie and look at the great detail that they did of her. No skimping or anything like that. And one more thing I do want to point out is the cutscenes. Let's go ahead and get to it. Not only in-game that went into great detail, also the cutscenes, especially with the mode captures and more. So this game looks really wonderful, pushing the boundaries of the PlayStation 4, and that's a good thing in the graphics department. Let's go ahead and talk about photo mode. Oh my goodness, they did a wonderful job of it. I mean, you could zoom in, zoom out, you could put logos there, you could do so many things, and it's really good. It even works on cutscenes, it's a little bit limited on that. It's a very good option. I use it for my thumbnails. This is great for social media. My only disappointment was for photo mode was that it's a tiny one, is you couldn't put emotions on the characters. Well, in the days gone, what you call it, photo mode, you could do it not in The Last of Us Part 2, but there are so many good options. So this is like a bonus for this game. Let's talk about the controls and accessibility. Oh my goodness, they did a great job of adding accessibility to the game so it'll be easier for people who has disabilities. Also, controls are very easy, including just moving around, climbing objects, or even interacting with certain objects. And it's really good though. I mean, it is really good in this game. For instance, you can have an easy time to interact with this generator. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mini game, but still did a great job of that too. So I'm going to talk about the next part is the controls in combat too. Now, as for controls in combat, it is really easy. They kept to the same formula, and they did some nice improvements. They even had the zoom in features if you also upgrade certain weapons with that. And also, it's very easy to go into prone mode, and overall, I felt like controls and accessibility in this game is a big plus. Let's talk about the gameplay. Now, combat, that's going to be a different thing I will touch on. You could run, you could jump across, you could prone, hide in grass. You could also do something that is also familiar from the Uncharted series. Climb the ropes and also swing them too, which is a very neat thing. It adds another layer to exploration and it makes the game more fun in that department. So, Naughty Dog did a great job in the gameplay department. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the crafting and supplement system in the game. They did a great job of maintaining that system, and of course, they gave you some more options, of course. Now, only downers, you gotta play New Game Plus, but still, if you really love the game, yeah, you will really enjoy it. You could upgrade a certain part of a weapon, for instance. You could upgrade, I'd probably say, on a rifle, adding a scope to it, with this pistol, making it more stability when you aim, which is really cool. Not only they did a great job of upgrading the weapons, also the supplements, they added manuals for you to find. You find the manuals, it's like a gateway to more skills to use, and it's really good. You just got to find the supplements, go ahead and use them, and then upgrade your character. There are so many different options. If you're more exploring mode, you'll do well. I mean, overall, I felt like the crafting and the upgrade system is great in this game, and that's nothing wrong with that. Now let's go ahead and talk about The Last of Us world. They did a great job maintaining the world has been turned into hell and looks like warm over thanks to the mushroom virus. That's what I'm calling it. Yeah, that turns people to mushroom zombies, which is really cool too. Also, another thing great in the world is the collectibles, and they have some nice stories too. Not only that, when you explore the world, some of the characters in the background, like for instance, the person is drinking a drink at a bar, someone's reading a book, other people are chatting. This world's lively despite the fact the world went to a hell in a handbasket. And that's a very good thing. And one more thing, they still kept the world's endless cycle of violence, which is really cool though. I mean, come on, it's post-apocalyptic future, everything went to fucking hell, and yeah, they kept that theme in it, which is really good. Let's go ahead and talk about combat. Oh my goodness. Naughty Dog definitely stepped up in combat in this game. Now, for instance, if you're facing enemies that are alert of you, they could go around you, attack you. They are humans. Now, on the other hand, the infected, if they are alerted, they will try to swarm you, which is really cool. Now, here's the best thing what I think about combat. It's not the regular stuff. It's the actual stealthing. Now, I did mention about grass briefly in the review, but oh my goodness. You could use that to do so many wrong things. I do mean wrong things to bad guys, which is really fun too. Now, just a word of warning though, enemies, if you get way too close to them, they could easily detect you. So you just gotta play smart, especially in stealth mode. They add layers of stealth in this game so cool that you could someone's day up, and that is a great thing. Now, you're playing Ellie and Abby, and the thing about Ellie and Abby is they have their own method of combat. For instance, Ellie has that indestructible knife, while Abby has to rely on shields, but still, it's about the basic same thing when you take out foes, and it's really good and fun. Yeah, so I felt that combat's good, but stealth combat is much better and much more fun to do in this game. Let's talk about the new foes in the game. Oh my goodness, they did a great job of adding new additions to the game. Like your WLFs are your normal, more organized foes, and then you have this dog. Yeah, the dogs, they can sniff you out. They'll follow a trail if you watch it in listen mode. If you're not careful, they'll bark, attack you, and lure other enemies to that location. So yeah, either take out the dog or else, yeah, deal with the possibility that enemies will swarm you. Now, one thing they definitely improve also in their department is the infected. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the infected size. Besides the improvements on the stalkers and certain enemies hide in certain places, yeah, you'll find out if you play this game. The Shamblers, yeah, let's talk about them. The Shamblers are big, bulky foes. They're not stronger than blowers. However, they are dangerous as them too in some cases. Now, they have spores. Yeah, you get too close, they do acid spores on you. You do damage. Too many of those, you die. And when you give them the death blow, they'll give you like a nice parting gift. Yeah, one final spray of spores before they drop dead. So I felt like the new foes in the game and improvements to the other foes make this game much more fun in the enemy department. Now let's talk about the music and sound in the game. First of all, the sound, they still kept the stealth part of the game where you try and be stealthy. If you do something wrong in stealth, then that chime comes up, which is good. Now music, they did a good job of too, and to include the guitar play, which is really fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let y'all listen to a clip of that for a few moments, which is really soothing and nice.
If I ever were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself.
I felt like the music and sound in this game, they did a great job of, especially the moments when you're interacting with the guitar, which is really cool. I'm going to say they did a great job of the difficulty and New Game Plus department. So let's briefly talk about New Game Plus. Your stuff carries over, like your upgrades and equipment that you found in the original game. You have to find the collectibles again, but you use that for chapter select. As for difficulty, oh my goodness, they did a great job. You can start off very light, and light, those are easy. Moderate's like a middle of the road, and then hard, yeah, there's hard too, and survival mode, or survivor mode I should say. They brought that back. Also, there's customizable challenges too. You can make resources very scarce, the enemy stronger, and the player weaker. There's so many layers you could do in this game too. When you select certain difficulties, you could turn on and off indicators. You could turn off aim assist. You can also turn off camera assist. You can also turn on and off auto weapon swap. So there's many neat things about the new game plus and difficulties in the game, which is really great. So Naughty Dog did a good job of that. Now let's go ahead and talk about parts of the story. Now for Ellie, she has some great moments in the story before the big swap. Now, for instance, this is a chapter I'm on. This is one of the good chapters in the game. Also, there is a flashback. I felt like that was the best part of the game. I'll give you a hint about that flashback. Is associated with a trophy. And I will say that's the good parts of Ellie. And I'm going to talk about Ellie's combat, which I thought was fun. Now, let's talk about Ellie's combat. I'm going to be honest. Out of the two characters, I felt like Ellie was the best. I felt like her bow versus crossbow was much better personally. Yeah, we'll talk about weapons later on. And also that knife is really good too. She still kept that knife from the first Last of Us, which is great. So I felt like parts of Ellie's story before the big swap and the combat parts when you play as Ellie is great. Also really fun too. And it's really worth it. Let's talk about the weapons, including craftballs. They are great, from Abby's pipe bombs to Ellie's mines that she sets on the ground and just runs away. Hopefully an enemy steps on it. Those are great, but the regular weapons are great too, the ones you find. From the supers, like Abby's flamethrower is really nice, and Ellie's silent machine gun's good. Those are really good, but I felt like personally the best weapon in the entire game is the bow and arrow. When you get the explosive arrows, those things are really good. They'll someone stay up. Yeah, you make noise, but it is worth it. Also, you do notice that the you can make silencers now on the pistols. Abby and Ellie could do that, which is really cool. So there's layers of stealth already in there. So I felt overall the weapons, including the craftable ones, they are really good in this game. Let's talk about the trophies. Oh man, they are really good. Great news is they listened to criticism of the first game's trophies. There are no new game plus or difficulty ones, and there's no conversation ones that you can miss. And most of them you could do chapter select, which is really good. Let's talk about the platinum now. As far as the platinum, there are no multiplayer ones or the difficulty ones, which is good. There's a whole bunch of collectibles, but still, with 1.5 playthroughs, that's average of 30 to 50 hours, which isn't bad at all. A lot of replayability, so let's hear the platinum chime. So I felt like the trophies are very reasonable, nothing really too hard to do. There's a few skill ones, but it's not bad. You can use chapter select to go back and get those trophies. So the trophies and the platinum are not bad. It's actually really good for this game. Let's talk about the boat controls. They suck. I mean, it really sucks. It's a little bit too loosey at times. And if you're trying to be really slick with the boat, in case there's one section full of enemies, well, yeah, you just gotta be careful. And going backwards isn't that bad. You know what games that improve on boat controls? Games like Grand Theft Auto, Watch Dogs, Saints Row. Yeah, those type of games. This game, yeah, it's really lacking. So I was disappointed in the boat controls. At least it's in one chapter, but still, that's a disappointment. Let's talk about the chapter select and the save system. You're saying, wait a second, I could chapter select to certain points to get certain trophies or stuff I miss. Well, guess what, everyone? You do need the complete save file in order to get through every chapter. Yeah, and if you're like one person who keeps on doing one save over and over again, yeah, you can lose that option going to the later chapters, which sucks. It should have been in the profile. and I just did was save the game. My issue with the save system is it's like a backwards progress system. You heard me right. Backwards progress system. So if you're going the Seattle chapter, yeah, you're going to hate the save system in the game because it could really yank you back. And of course, if you die, yeah, it could yank you back. And whatever collectibles you did before each checkpoint, yeah, that would suck big time. Like I said before, they should did what the save system was save on the spot. And then if there are enemies in certain areas, yeah, you don't put the save there too. As for the chapter select, they should have did it in a fucking profile. That was my issue with the save system and the chapter select system. Yeah, that was pretty annoying, really annoying. It would be annoying for people who are trophy hunting and they all of a sudden, missed it out on it, which really sucked. And I'm going to show you my point about the save system pulling you back. See, like I said before, you load your game up and it pulls you back before you get out of the house, which sucked though. So I felt like the save system sucked and the chapter select system was a huge disappointment. Let's go ahead and talk about the giant elephant in the room, Joel's death. I felt like that death was handled way too early and more of a shock value instead of drawing out emotions. It brought the wrong emotions, and in some people, they cannot separate fact from fiction. I felt like, personally, yeah, that was just for shock value, and I also think they should have done was is they're going to kill Joel off. They should have done it either 2/3 of their game or near the end of the game. My issue was yeah, they did it way too early, and they make it a revenge game. It was not even a good revenge game. I'll touch on that part later on in the review. Now, they should have handled Joel's death like a certain character from an adventure game with the initials TWD. You know what character I'm talking about. They handled that character's death really well towards the end of that season. Still, they should have just, like I said before, killed off Joel either 2/3 into the game or towards the end. Instead, they went for shock value to shock the players going, oh my goodness, I gotta play on. No. It turned away some players. It really pissed them off. So I felt like Joel's death was handled the wrong way. Now, let's talk about the story quality. We loved The Last of Us Part 1 because the story quality and the pacing was great. You fell in love with Joel, the character, especially with Ellie. And when the swap happened between Joel and Ellie, that was great. The story kept on going. It made a lot of sense. And it was fun to play, even to play over and over again. What happened in this game? Well, guess what? It took a massive Something tells me between the time of the first game being released on the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4, writers changed hands. Yeah, so I felt like the writing was absolutely abysmal. There was a few good points in the game, like the patrol mission where the two girls found the weed. That was pretty funny, and the museum stuff was cool. Rest of it, I didn't either connect, or I felt like, yeah, let's just get this going. I felt like that too. Way too many plot holes, like why Ellie at the end spared Abby. Also, why Tommy was a freaking idiot. There's so many plot holes and a lot of things that didn't make sense either. The narration of the game was really terrible. You just felt like you just want to get into combat to make things better. And then you realize you get in the story, you're going, oh, not again. Yeah, what was my biggest problem was the swap. Yeah, you played a villain, I'm going to say, that killed off Joel, that took a lot of immersion out, and then when you swap back to Ellie, that drive to play the game, you just want to finish it instead of just enjoying the story, which was a disappointment. Now, before I do talk about Abby, I'm not going to attack the voice actress because I respect the voice actress because she came from various games I love. For example, she was voicing Janna Proudmoore in the World of Warcraft games. Let's see here, Skyrim, Serena the Hot Vampire, Rain from Blood Rain. Also, let me see what else. Oh yeah, Nadine from Uncharted and more. She's a talented voice actress. So let's go ahead and talk about Abby and why I felt like the game went downhill from there. Now, you all know from my part about Joel that Abby killed Joel. And you're thinking, okay, she's the focal point in the game as a revenge for Ellie to kill. Guess what? Naughty Dog decided to do something that was really bad. Rewarded you by playing Abby. Now, my issue was not the murder that. What was more of an issue was this was a whole flashback, and then there was another flashback, back to that point in the flashback, another flashback. Yeah, it was all flashback. It was a chaotic mumble jumble mess. The characters and story just started to lose interest in, and it was just getting worse. Ellie showed the viewpoint that, yeah, the WLF was really bad, and that brought it home when it was like Abby's playthrough. You're like going, yeah, I have to work for these that shit. Combat was good with Abby with some things, but I felt like at this point it lost momentum. And then I'm going to say I was not happy fighting Ellie as Abby. That just seriously took it out for me. I was almost throwing the controller at that point. You're attacking a lovable character like Ellie. I mean, come on. After that, we swapped to Ellie, and yeah, that momentum was gone because it just went downhill from there. So I felt like that was a big mistake as playing as Abby. Least they should have done was put her as a DLC character and see if that worked. Unfortunately, with the writing and more, yeah, this game just fell just trying to have Abby as a good character. Now, let me talk about the characters in the game, why I felt like most of them was a huge step down. Well, actually, quite a few steps down. In The Last of Us Part 1, besides Joel and Ellie, you bonded big time. You also bonded briefly with characters like Tess, Bill, Sam, Henry, and Riley from the DLC even. You bonded with her well. That was really great. What happened? Well, thanks to the writing from Naughty Dog this round, yeah, the characters in the game you either hate, didn't give a about, or in rare cases, yeah, you actually liked. Not like in The Last of Us Part 1, but still. I liked the dog. That was pretty cool, and there were some good Ellie moments. Unfortunately, Joel moments were really limited to flashbacks and a little bit points of the game before you know what happened. As for the other characters, yeah, they were like pieces of I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Owen was a cheating scumbag. Mel was a total yeah, I'm going to just say that there. Yeah, she was a real cranky. At times, I was like going, come on, even though despite the fact in some instances that Abby's trying to save your sorry. And other characters, I just felt like, yeah, I didn't give a about. I still felt like Manny was a little bit of an a-hole, and overall, the characters didn't grip with me at all. And then even Levy was alright, but by then, the damage was done thanks to the storytelling. And I felt like also you didn't spend much time with certain characters. I wish you would have spent more time with Dina as Ellie, and even at points Jesse and Ellie. That was a good combo. Instead, it was just like a chaotic mess with the characters. You didn't bond with them. Instead, you just want to either hope they die or they go away, most of them. Let's go ahead and talk about the ending. I'm going to be spoiling this because I'm heavily disappointed in the end of the game. At certain points, you arrive at the farm, Ellie and Dina have a nice life, and then all of a sudden, after Tommy's idiotic visit, yeah, they f***ed that up really bad. Ellie told Dina, yeah, I found Abby, I'm going to get my revenge. This is supposed to be a revenge game, and you're thinking, okay, Dina's going to support you after all this she went through with Ellie. Nah, that was not good at all. She didn't want to support her. I was like, going, come on. I mean, you two together, you two survived together, just like Joel and Ellie in the first game. No, that didn't happen. Afterwards, you get to a certain point, you spared Abby after a boss fight. And at this point, yeah, that's when the ending really hit me. It sucked badly, let's be honest. Dina left Ellie's and of course, she left that guitar behind, which sucked, though, because that was a symbol of Joel and Ellie together, basically. And then afterwards, she went unknown. You're thinking, oh, it's supposed to break the cycle of violence. Well, guess what? The Last of Us universe is a cycle of violence. I felt the ending was a disappointment. Now, I felt like Abby should have been introduced in The Last of Us Part 1 instead of 2, throwing for shock value to have someone be the catalyst of killing Joel and a revenge story, which was very bad, by the way. And she should have been in The Last of Us Part 1. They did something great in Borderlands 2 to connect it to 3. Yeah, they had that awesome DLC. You know what they should have done was even made a PlayStation 4 exclusive was have Abby's own story where she discovered a hospital, her father's dead body, and the flashbacks. Instead, we got this mess with poor Abby, unfortunately. What is my final verdict for The Last of Us Part 2? Buy it at 50% off with a score of 5. And if you want improvements in combat, A game that looks gorgeous and pushes the boundaries. This is the game for you. If you're looking for a good story, please look elsewhere. Now, before I do my outro and such, I will have to talk about another topic before I end the video because I felt like I want to talk about this topic. Even though I didn't like the story, I blame it on the writers, not the voice actor and actresses. My issue, what I'm about to talk about, is people taking it too far. I guess one of the voice actresses, the one who voice actress Abby. When I saw the tweets and threads to this voice actress, yeah, I was fucking pissed off. Sorry I have to say that word, but I was seriously pissed off. Why? You should not make death threats on someone because they voice actress a character you didn't like. Yeah, I didn't like Abby, but I don't want to see no death threats to that person. Besides, she is way too talented. I mean, she did a voice of Rain from Blood Rain. The I think the vampire woman named Serena from Skyrim. Yeah, that game. Nadine from Uncharted 4, and of course Uncharted The Lost Legacy. Yeah, I kind of wish I was be able to play as Nadine though at this point in that. And I'm still waiting for my Uncharted Nadine game. That was a really good character. Still, like I said before, don't do any death threats. Instead, just move on. Everything will be fine. And of course, there'll be other games out there. Just don't do any death threats. I feel like that's stupid and immature. That's my final say on that. Well, this is it for my The Last of Us Part 2 review. This is Lord Fenton signing off. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day or night. Please stay safe. Please subscribe to my channel for more video content like this. If you like what you see, click on the upper right link that I suggested or the bottom right link that YouTube suggested. Have a wonderful day or night.